Hey guys, I am going to demonstrate how to make an optical illusion. We're going to start with the basics today, and I'm going to show you a cool way to do one. But first you got to learn the basics. And it involves a little bit of math. So you're going to have to get out a ruler, and you're going to have your handy dandy pencil. I'm going to be using a Sharpie so you can see it good, but you want to use a pencil so you can erase if you need to. So, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start out by having a square, and I have to label out that square with centimeters. We're going to be using inches because that's easier. So what I've done is I've made some 3-inch squares so you can see that. And you can line it up. You can see that this is 3 inches here, 3 inches here, 3 inches here, and here, because squares are equal on all sides. And what I've done is I've placed these little tick marks at every 1/2 inch. So at the 1/2 inch, the 1 inch, the 1 1/2 inch, the 2 inch, the 2 1/2 inch, and then we don't need one at the 3 because it's at the end. We do that on the sides as well. We mark it at the 1/2 inch, the 1 inch, the 1 1/2 inch, the 2 inch, and the 2 1/2 inch. I'm going to start out by showing you a basic, what I call grid or checkerboard. All you do is you line this up on each side with each tick mark. So you'll measure out on each side, and then you'll line it up with your ruler. And you're going to start drawing that out. Okay, just like so. So you can see those are going across. You're going to do the same thing over here. So I'm going to do the second step. So we have drawn out these. Got these drawn out over here so you can see all the steps. It's important to see all the steps. So I'm going to do the vertical lines now. Line work is always important in art, and you always want to make sure that your lines look nice and clean and crisp, because if they do not, it does not turn out well. So you want to take your time and make sure that those are all lined up. So you can see that we have a checkerboard here. I'm going to do it one more time so you can see it really well, and this will give you a good demonstration. So I am just lining up my tick marks, and I am going across first. So I'm going horizontally across and vertically down. Just like so. And there we've got our checkerboard. And the next thing you want to do is you want to start filling in every other little square. So I just fill in that first square, second. So I'm making a pattern. Black, white, black, white, black, white. Okay? Next row, white, black, black, and so on, as you can see. Then you are left with this wonderful checkerboard at the end, just like this one. So wonderful patterns, wonderful lines. All you have to do is make a 3-inch box, and at every 1/2 inch make a tick mark at the top and the bottom, and then you make out your lines. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 horizontal lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vertical lines going across and up and down. And then you start filling in your little checkerboards, and you're voila, finished with this one. With the next one, we call this the crazy checkerboard. The crazy checkerboard. You have your tick marks. Remember that I've made a 3-inch box here. So it's 3 inches on all sides. I've made my tick marks at every 1/2 inch, at the 1/2 inch, the 1 inch, the 1.5, the 2, the 2.5. We don't need one up to 3. On the sides here, so you can see those tick marks if you cannot. We've done it on all sides. And these are really easy to do. All you have to start doing on these is you just create these squiggly lines. Can you see that okay? There it is. So, squiggly lines here and here, like so. I'm going to do the same thing at this bottom one so you can see it. Again, here, 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 here. Okay? So, I've made my squiggly lines there, just like I did up here. On this next one, I'm going to add in the squiggly lines that go across. Just like so. So I made those squiggly lines, and then I'm going to start filling them in just like I did with the checkerboard, with the pattern. You could use color if you want. Black, white, black, white, and then white, black, white, black. Just like so. Okay, and then you should have a finished piece that looks like this, all crazy and wobbly looking. Now, for the next one, it's a little more challenging. So what we do is we start out with a square, and we're gonna make a stairwell pattern with this one. So I am going to basically, I have a 3-inch box. And at every 1/2 inch, I gotta turn my ruler so I'm on the inches, okay? Every 1/2 inch, I'm gonna make a little tick mark. So right here, and then a 1/2 inch from this side, I think. 1/2 inch right there. Yeah, so I'll make a 1/2 inch there. I'm gonna turn my box where this is right here. Gonna make a point at the 1/2 inch there. Turn it, make a point at the 1/2 inch there. And on this line, make a point at the 1/2 inch. So on each one of these lines, I've made a point at the 1/2 inch here. I've turned my paper, made a point at the 1/2 inch here, turned my paper, made a point at the 1/2 inch there. Okay, I'm going to do that again over here so you can see it. Going to make a dot at the 1/2 inch here. Turn it. Oh, you can't see that one. Let me outline it for you so you can see it a little better. So sorry. Okay, so I made a dot at the 1/2 inch here. On this one, I'm turning my paper, lining up this. It makes 3 inches across if you don't remember. And make a 1/2 inch here, turn it, 3 inches across, make a 1/2 inch there. And I'm doing that on the left side each time. You could do yours on the right. It doesn't really matter, but I'm doing mine on the left because I'm left-handed. Okay, so I've got these made. The next step to this one is I'm going to line up those tick marks. So I'm going to draw a line from this tick mark to that tick mark. Can you see that? No, you can't. Let me move that a little bit better for you. There you go. Okay, so it made a line here, turning it. So I'm matching up this tick mark with this tick mark over here. Turning the paper, constantly turning my paper. This tick mark here with this tick mark here. Turning my paper. Just like so. You see that I've made a box inside that box. Now, the next step is that I'm going to create another box within that box. So, it's going to become kind of tricky. So I'm lining up with this inside little box here. Okay, so it is not quite 3.5 inches, but I'm going to line it up. I'm going to make a 1/2 inch tick mark here to the left. On the left, you could do yours on the right. Turn my paper, make a tick mark at the 1/2 inch here. Make a tick mark at the 1/2 inch here. Make a tick mark at the 1/2 inch here. This one's a little more difficult to do, okay? So I've made these other tick marks inside of my smaller box. And then I'm going to do the same thing that I did on that one. I'm going to line up the tick marks, or the little dots that I've made. Turn my paper. Turn my paper. So I'm just lining up the little marks that we're making at every 1/2 inch in each box. And the box is going to get smaller as we go because it's going to look like the box is going down into the paper. So, okay, so I've made my second smaller box on the inside. I'm going to line up that there. Make a 1/2 inch tick mark there. Turn the paper. Half inch here. Turn the paper. I'm doing a 1/2 inch on the left every time. You could do yours on the right. I'm left-handed. I do it on the left. Okay? So I've made my tick marks inside there. I'm going to line those up. Line it up. Starting to get a little funky looking. Line it up. Okay, so I've got my third box on the inside there. I'm going to continue that process. 1/2 inch mark on the left every time. I do mine on the left. You can do yours on the right. I do mine on my left because I'm left-handed. Make a mark. Then I'm doing my tick mark, lining it up, drawing it out. They start to look like they don't match, and that's okay, because if you make your mark at the 1/2 inch tick mark every time, it's going to come out right. Don't worry about how it looks right now. Worry about how it looks when you're done. So I'm going to line that up again. And I'm just going to keep going until I run out of space to do these. It's called a stairwell or a stair spiral because it spirals down like a staircase. Just like so. Okay, I made my tick marks. I'm going to line those up. So I made my box inside there. See how it looks like a stairwell, kind of like you look down a stairwell? If you've ever been in a tall building, it's really going to look like that. So doing it at the 1/2 inch mark every time. Every time. Okay, this will be my final one, I think, because I'm just running out of room to make my boxes. I could probably do one more, but I'm not going to. Okay. Voila. So I've made my spiral. Now this one is kind of tricky because you really have to watch what you color in. It looks great now, but you have to think about which spaces you're going to color in. So I'm going to start over here on this one. I'm just going to color this in. And you're just going around your side. So this one's not going to be colored, but this one will be. Okay. Then I'm going to go into my next box. This one will be colored. Oh, you can't see that. I'm going to go into my next box here. This one's going to be colored in. This one will not be. This one will be. Okay, next box. This one will be. So this one isn't on the second box. On the first box, or the first section on my third box that you see, this will be. This will not be. Yeah, this will not be. This will be. Even I have time. I have to really watch where I will get off. And this one won't be. Okay, so on this next one, this one will be. Really watch on this one because it becomes really difficult. Okay, because you can get really off if you're not careful. And this one won't be. This one will be. Gotta find your boxes in there. Okay, so this one won't be, this one will be. This one won't be, but this one will be. Okay. See how it's going in there? And then the next step is, oh, this is going to become this black horrific thing. So what we're going to do, okay, what we're going to do, I'm going to cut that in there, is I'm going to color in this middle one, right like so. And so voila, it spirals down. Really simple. So you just basically start out with these 1-inch tint marks on each side. Tick, tick, tick. So these half-inch tick marks on each side, and you draw a square each time, which you've seen me do. So there's lots of cool ways that you can do this. You could do the easy ones like the crazy checkboard or just the simple classic checkboard op art. But the spiral staircase one is super cool. So if you want to try that, I suggest you try that. I hope that's helpful. I hope it gave you a little information on how to do some op art. Op art was created in the 1960s, so it's super fun. I hope that you have a great rest of your day. I'll see you later.